Brett Bear and the Runaway Rabbit. It was a sunny afternoon. Brett Bear sat with Kyle and his family out in the garden. They were all eating lunch, sitting round the table under a big umbrella. Nana May suggested they grow a strawberry bush next to Ronnie the Rabbit's hutch. And very soon they all went off in the car to buy some strawberry seeds. All except Brett Bear, who stayed in his seat enjoying all the wonderful sunshine. Then Brett Bear had an idea. He jumped off the chair and danced along to the bottom of the garden. He wanted to tell Ronnie the Rabbit that there would be a strawberry bush growing next to his hutch one day. But when Brett got to the hutch, he found the door was open. Ronnie was not inside. "Oh dear," said Brett Bear. "Where can he be?" Brett decided he would investigate and find his lost friend. He would search the garden, question everyone, and find clues. He knew how to be a good detective. First, Brett saw Mel. Mel was the croaky toad who sometimes hopped into the garden from the nearby brook. "Hello, Mel," said Brett. "I'm so glad to see you. I'm looking for my lost friend, Ronnie the Rabbit. He's run away. Have you seen him?"
"No," croaked Mel. "But before I hop back to my brook, I can help you take a look."
They hopped off together and came across Babs the field mouse, scuttling across the grass. Babs loved to giggle. She had scuttled and giggled all the way from Windsor, where she used to live, before she built her little home beside the shed. "Hello, Babs," said Brett. "Have you seen Ronnie the Rabbit?"
"No,"
said Babs.
"but I'll help you look."
They scuttled on a little further and saw Sid the leprechaun jumping up and down next to the apple tree. "Hello, Sid," said Brett. "Have you seen Ronnie the Rabbit?"
"No," he said. "I've been too busy working on my magic. I'm trying to make the apples turn into melons. Do you want to see?"
"Oh," said Brett, "I've got no time to see the magic, I'm afraid. I must find Ronnie."
"OK then," said Sid. "I'll help you look."
They all jumped along the garden path until they came to the little pond where the two gnomes, Oliver and Stanley, were dipping their fishing rods into the water. Oliver was dripping with water and had a lily pad on his head. Poor Oliver! Stanley had pushed him into the pond by mistake. "Oh dear," said Brett Bear. "Looks like you've gotten yourself into another fine mess." Oliver and Stanley began to laugh. "What are you all doing by the pond?" asked Oliver when he was able to stop laughing. "I'm looking for Ronnie the Rabbit. He's lost. Have you seen him?" asked Brett Bear. He was becoming very worried now. "Isn't he in his hutch?" asked Stanley. "No," said Brett. "Isn't he under the apple tree?" asked Oliver. "No," said Brett Bear. "He's not there. I can't find him anywhere." "We'll help you look," said Stanley and Oliver at the same time. They all jumped and scuttled and hopped and ran around the garden in circles, but they could not find their friend. Then Brett Bear had another idea, a very good idea. "I know," he said. "The smartest detectives retrace their steps. We'll go back to all the places we've been to in the garden, and I'm sure we'll find Ronnie." They followed Brett Bear back to the pond, along the path to the apple tree, across the grass, and back down to the bottom of the garden. Brett looked into Ronnie's hutch. He got onto his tippy toes and looked on the top. Then he looked around the side. And there was Ronnie the Rabbit. He was fast asleep, curled up in a fluffy ball. "Hooray!" shouted Brett. "I found my friend!" "Shh!" said the others. "We better let him sleep." One by one, They all crept back to their places. Mel hopped over to his brook. Babs scuttled away to her little home beside the shed. Sid went back to his tree to carry on making magic melons, and Stanley and Oliver picked up their fishing rods and dipped them back into the pond. Brett Bear climbed up into his chair and smiled. He was a very proud detective, the detective who had found the runaway rabbit.